The Bucs bid farewell to a legend, and the Colts spread some money around. Was it penny wise or dollar foolish?
Oh, Baltimore. You think you have your guy? Come up with a little buyer's remorse, and lo and behold, Trey Hendrickson becomes a Baltimore Raven.
A recap of all the spending sprees and the big splashes on a free agency recap of Sunday Scaries with Bucks McGee.
Sometimes in life, you have to say goodbye to move forward.
Aww.
You know,
Aww.
you gotta just enjoy. You gotta enjoy what you had, and not think about what you're gonna miss. But lo and behold, that's NFL free agency for you. Go figure.
Just remember the good times, Bucks McGee. Just remember the good times.
The good times. That's all you can do. All you can do. You know. How many stages do they say of there's of grief that you go through?
6?
6, because right now it's the anger for me. Right
It's
now it's the
anger.
anger. It's the anger. It's the anger. It's the anger's been about a day and a half. Day and a
Will you,
half.
will you be that much more angry when Brock Purdy won't give up 13?
You know what? That's fine, whatever. But when they get shellacked by the Rams, all I got to say is I told you so. But it's okay. It's okay.
Wait, there
I'm,
it's clean of that.
I'm like, yeah, Mike, how does that feel? Feels familiar, huh? No, it's okay. It's okay.
Diving back into the archives with that one, huh?
Yeah, zero blitz is my favorite play of all time. Zero blitz.
Yes.
Thanks, Todd. But anyways, it's the NFL free agency. How are we doing?
Good, good. And I want to get you started early, Bucks McGee, with a topic of warm notes to us in the past because returning to the New York Football Jets is one Mr. Geno Smith.
Glassjaw, Geno Smith himself. Good
The
Lord.
biggest move of the offseason by far.
Like, I guess, Geno, if you got to play, you got to play. But there's a point where I'm like, no, I'm not going back there. There's got the XFL or UFL's got to be a better option than this fiasco because you're only going to last a year. They've stockpiled draft picks. But I guess he's going to use this as tape so he can get himself another job next year.
as he's clawing on the door of 40, like that's not usually the point in a career where players want to springboard to big money.
The way they threw around money this free agency, you never know. But Garrett Wilson must be happy. He's going to get more than 400 yards passing receiving this year.
Yeah,
So it's the
400
Jets.
yards.
It's the Jets. It is what it is. It's a footnote in another chapter in their sad existence at this point. But Geno still got a little something in the tank. He'll get them competitive. They probably will pull off a game or two that we were like, oh, there's no way they should win it because that's what the Jets do. But they'll still end up, 4-13, and it'll be what it'll be.
Yeah, and that one win will play themselves out of the number one draft pick.
Yep, exactly. Just like they're looking at the Raiders going, yeah, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to me, to rub salt in the wounds of the Jets fans, at least if I was a Jets fan, I would be thinking the same thing, is a real organization like the New England Patriots dumps $80 million on Romeo Dobbs, who is a solid wide receiver and fills a position of need.
You think you'd look at that and be like, yeah, our rival, but look how they run it. Look what they do. And here we are playing ourselves out. We try to win games when we should tank. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Imagine Fernando in New York, except nope, there he is on the West Coast, and there's Geno Glassjaw. There you go. It is what it is.
I feel so bad for Aaron Glenn. I really do.
Just quit now. Just quit now and move on. I feel bad for Garrett Wilson. Just leave, dude. And And Brees Hall sitting there going, wow, you guys hate me, don't you? You hate me.
Right.
Franchise me, you hate me.
Yeah. He hate me. He hate me. um, all right. Enough about the Jets. The major story of the offseason is one that was a bit of a roller coaster over the last week and a half. Max Crosby looked like a done deal heading to Baltimore. And that looked like I'm not quite sure why he would want to go to the Ravens. I mean, we pegged him as fraudulent for almost an entire season. But sure enough, that's where it looked like he was going. And then within 72 hours, fails physical, back to the Raiders. Crosby puts on the good citizen cap and says, I'm going to commit to Vegas, this, that, and the third. And Baltimore moves on to Trey Hendrickson within a mere 12 hours.
Here's my problem with it. Baltimore knew he was gonna fail the physical. Like all 32 teams knew. Like, okay, here's the deal. The guy had surgery. He should be back ready for the beginning of the season. He's on course for it. Surgeons, everyone said doctor-wise, he's good to go. It's just he won't take part in anything until basically towards the beginning of the season. All right, fine. You knew what you were getting. All of a sudden, you get a little shaky, and then no, we don't want him. We don't want him. It's the knee. The knee's the issue, and then you pivot to Trey. I think it was shadiness. They knew they wanted Trey, and it was like, all right, because they were talking to Trey while freaking Max was in the building getting his physical. Like, come on,
Right. You don't put together a $120 million contract in less than 12 hours. You just don't.
So I get it. Technically, there's nothing wrong with what they did, but it's just a very bad optic, and a lot of teams are going to be hesitant to deal with Baltimore in the future.
Yeah, and like you said, if you got cold feet about Max's injury situation, uh, that hurts the idea that the Ravens were going to win now. We went after Max, who's the best edge rusher in the game, because we're win now. We got to capitalize on what we lost last year and get to the Super Bowl. So if you were willing to throw away a season because Crosby isn't ready, it just makes it look doubly bad.
Okay, so the guy had surgery on his knee. They're saying he's supposed to be 100%. So you probably would be getting 4 prime years of Max as opposed to hopefully 2 of Trey. Because don't forget, Trey's been nicked up the last year or so.
Yeah.
So let's say something happens and it totally falls apart. You look like the fool. You look like the fool. So what you need to do with one of those draft picks is to pick at that position and hope something falls to you, because I think it's a bad move. I would have stuck with Max and said, okay, fine, picked up maybe Bosa, someone just to step in or whatever, rotational person till Max is 100%. Because if everything falls well, he's gonna be fine, and you'll get at least 4 years of prime Max Crosby. I don't get it.
Now, as Max returns to the Raiders, this there wasn't. It's almost kind of like Crosby is an extra get in their off season because things looked like he was going to be out the door one way or the other. But the Raiders have been very active in addition to welcoming back their star that they had already bid adieu to. So Tyler Linderbaum from the Ravens, there's the Ravens again. The Raiders steal him because every young quarterback needs a center as their best friend. So Fernando gets one of the best in the game right away, to the tune of $81 million. They also bring in Quay Walker, who the Packers lost in free agency. Kwity Paye, ex-Colt, also lands in Vegas. And then Taron Johnson from the Bills, Nickelback, comes in as well. So the Raiders have beefed up their offensive line, beefed up their defense to ridiculous areas of need, as if every position wasn't an area of need outside of Gentry. and now they throw Crosby back in the mix, at least allegedly.
And I get, his little, Instagram message, with the Undertaker music, and yeah, I'm a Raider, I'm back. If I'm the Raiders, if someone offers me a decent package, I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm shipping him off. I really am. Like, you were prepared to ship him off. If you truly wanted to keep him, you could have. It wasn't like it was, he still had another year or so on the contract. You could have kept him. So if someone gives you something that's feasible for the future on draft night, I'm listening. I'm listening enough. And it's no disrespect to Max, but you've got to look long term. If you can get a couple more pieces, some more draft capital going forward, and you can accelerate this process for the Raiders, I think you do it.
I kind of want to take the devil's advocate on that one because if I'm Max coming in there and I see all this work that the Raiders front office did and pulling in all the work that Tom Brady did, pulling in all these quality players in, to me that's gotta invigorate me as Max Crosby to want to make this work. So for the front office is going to sit there and be like, all right, you know what, we did our end of the bargain. Are you going to hold up yours?
Yeah, but Max should have assumed that they were going to do that in the offseason without, in theory, asking for a trade. You should have believed in your front office to say, okay, sit down. What is your plan for free agency? Because if I believe in it, then I'm here. I will be the guy. I will wave the flag. I will be the ambassador. I'll drive these guys wherever they got to go. Yada yada. But if he wasn't sure of it and they said, okay, well, we're going to trade you, and he was all about it because he was all emotional and he said he was ready to give everything to Baltimore. I don't know. I get it, but no, you were ready to go. If you believed in this front office and what they were going to do in the free agency, then you wouldn't have asked for the trade. You would have sat and said, okay, well, let me play this next year and then I'm totally out. I'm gone. That's it. If you can't prove to me this year what we're doing, if I don't believe in it, then I'm out.
And it makes you wonder as far as
I'm like, you're out.
yeah. um, we'll move on to a news topic that's only a couple hours old at the time of our show. We were talking last week about who Minnesota was going to move on to, and I wouldn't have guessed it would be Kyler Murray.
The Las Vegas A's darling, formerly of the Oakland A's darling, Kyler Murray. If you look what's out there, you can't hate it. I don't think I would have wanted Tua. I wouldn't have wanted Geno Smith. So the one with the most upside is Kyler Murray, and I think
Yeah.
hopefully this wakes him up and he's like, wow, I went from being, top of the heap to they didn't want me, they cut me out, and my last chance is here in Minnesota. Now Minnesota's got weapons. It's not like Minnesota's horrible, but I think he may end up being the starter because we know who the current starter is there in Minnesota. 9.
Fine.
And if he can't pull it together, he's a done deal. It was a wasted draft pick, and for years Minnesota fans are going to say, "Well, look what we had, and we wasted it on this mess." Sam Darnold could have been your starter, and you wouldn't even have had to have worried about this. So, I think Kyler smartens up and very well could win the starting position.
Well, to that point, I think it very much could be last licks for Kyler here, as far as in the league in general. Just because if you can't figure it out with Justin Jefferson on the outside and the defense that the Minnesota Vikings have, the chances that you could make it work anywhere else are probably slim to none.
Yeah, exactly. You're playing indoors. All you've got to do is be smart. You don't have to be the savior. And I don't think Kyler was ready to be the savior of Arizona. He comes in, puts his nose to the ground, plays smart. He could be successful. And at that point, 9 could be looking elsewhere.
A conclusion. Any of us with half an iota of common sense would just assume it as a foregone conclusion.
Could be the new starting quarterback for the Jets. Get ready for it.
Could be. I'm sure that will make many gangrene jerseys lit ablaze.
I don't
All
think we
right.
talk about the Jets so much in all our lives here.
Bucks McGee, the state of your Bucks we'll move on to. And I don't know, you want to go positive or negative here? Because Mike Evans leaves a big hole, but the Bucks certainly filled it.
All right, here's where it is, and at the end of the day, you knew after that game against Atlanta, you knew, you could tell it was over. You know, Bucks have the lead. Defense again fails us. 3rd and 28. Just don't know how you let a team get 3rd and 28, first downs. They blow the game. Mike Evans walks off the field, throws his helmet. You could kind of tell at that point something was brewing. He made his comments as normally he does. Wants to be the Buck for life. Yada yada yada. Then, months later, he makes the comment about the wide receiver room, that it's in great hands, and he's impressed with the guys in there. He makes that comment basically, and I'm sitting there going, he's gone. He's moving on. Because when you sit there and say, wow, the wide receiver room's in great hands, it's kind of like you're passing it on and
Yeah.
moving on. And let's be honest, that wide receiver room is solid. You have, Chris Godwin, Emeka Ibuka, Jalen McMillan's back from the neck injury. You got Tez Johnson. Yeah. By the way, Teddy, it was nice knowing you. Enjoy your life back in Detroit.
I was gonna say that.
So there's talent at that wide receiver room, and they've gotten younger. And I think Mike knew that and kind of wanted to be the guy again. He wants to end it on his own terms. He doesn't want to. He's 33 years old. He still feels he's got it in the tank. He wants to be the guy, and that's what he's going to be in San Francisco. He's going to be the guy. So now the question is do the hamstrings hold up? This is, he wants to prove it. Well, he's got the guy to throw him the ball, and now we'll see.
It's crazy that Mike Evans is 33. It feels like he's playing for about 20 years.
And I think last year left a really bad taste in his mouth, and I think going through, going your third offensive coordinator in 3 years, and just honestly, I think he held Todd Bowles responsible, as does most everybody. So I think he wanted just a fresh start, and he wanted a team that had a chance. It's interesting, how he said he wanted to play in a Shanahan system and all of that, but you go to a division where you may not even make the playoffs. If you really think about it, you may be loaded. You may be on the third best team in that division, and you may not make the playoffs. So it's kind of a risk there, but he wants to prove that he's the man. Hey, I give him credit. Gonna miss the guy, but from an offensive standpoint, I think the Bucs are solid. They've made Kenneth Gainwell, Rachaad White's gone to Washington. All the power to you. Good luck with that. At the end of the day, it all comes down to this defense, and if Todd Bowles can't get this turned right, it's the end of the Todd Bowles era, no doubt about it. They've made some pieces. They've picked up some guys. We'll see what happens, but it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and those other improvements. One, Mr. Kenneth Gainwell, very much, especially after the way he played in Pittsburgh, a better version of Rachaad White, a new backup quarterback in Jake Browning. Certainly experienced starting with all of Joe Burrow's injuries over the past. They did bring back Cade Otton, and that linebacker core, very much a soft spot, gets a needed boost with Alex Anzalone.
Thor, yes, I like that one. They've picked up some edge rushers, some guys that seem a little decent, not the ones that everybody was clamoring for. So this draft is going to be absolutely key. Todd Light's going to have to hit on this draft. He's going to have to knock it out of the park, because that was the sore spot. Basically, need edge rusher and linebacker. So we'll see what happens if Todd can somehow figure this out. But if you were to tell me this team wins maybe 7 to 9 games, I'd be like, all right. But it's going to be one of those things where it's almost like Cincinnati, put up 34, 35 points, give up 38. So
oh no. Oh no, you're the Bengals South. That's got to be a bitter pill to swallow.
Hey, at least we won. At least I can remember when we won. I wasn't sitting there. I didn't spend 3/4 of my salary on 2 wide receivers, so I'm all right. I don't feel horrible.
Yeah, and the other one third, another one salary on the quarterback. Anyway,
Yeah, there you go. So I'm okay with that. We'll see what happens, but Tampa's got it. Basically, this is Todd Bowles already on the hot seat. If you can't figure it out, it's a wrap.
speaking of teams that need edge rushers, I've only been screaming about it for about 6 years now. My Colts, a little bit of an active off season. Now we talked about the transition tag placed on Daniel Jones last week. I liked that as it was. Then they wound up working out a deal with him anyway. There's a little bit of a chunk of incentives in here, but the base value of it is 2 years for $88 million. Good chunk of money, but 60 million guaranteed. That's a fairly reasonable annual cap hit, and it only locks up the position for 2 years. So if for some reason Daniel Jones can't get over the Achilles, and he's just a walking injury and a slightly better version of Anthony Richardson, it's not like we locked up the future to another guy that can't stay healthy.
No, true. Then it's just a situation of now you've got to find the future. It's
Sorry, 2 years to do it. 2 years to do it. I'm all right
two
with that.
year 2 years to do it. I don't know what the draft pick situation is because you did kind of give away the farm for
Send them all to the Jets.
yeah. So that's you guys. That's Indy North right there.
Yeah.
Um, as long as Jones can come back healthy, then yeah, I think you're good. And he comes back healthy, probably gives you another couple of years after that. It's kind of like a win now scenario, with that situation. But as long as he's healthy, like I said, I thought Indiana Jones played well last year till he got hurt. He was on fire. So it's just going to be him coming back, doing his thing. You got Alec Pierce, signed to a nice contract.
Yeah, another player that we opened up the wallet for in a big way. 114 over 484 guaranteed. And I kind of thought that that was going to be the likely scenario after the transitionary tag on Jones. I wasn't expecting quite so much money, but I kind of saw that happening with the Jones move being what it was.
And he played great. So, and you end up getting rid of one of your favorites.
I hate that. Mr. Zaire Franklin, I hate that.
You know that Michael Pittman's gone.
Oh, you were being facetious. I see where
I,
you're
w-
going with
I, I
that.
was
Yes,
being facetious. I
yes, yes.
apologize, but
I'm slow on the uptake sometimes.
all right, it's all right. Free agency is a lot of emotion. You don't know where to go sometimes. Believe me,
Yeah.
I know.
I was doing a little
So
dance when Michael Pittman got traded. I was doing a little dance.
it's gonna it'll be interesting, how the offense comes along. If Jones can, come back right away and do his thing, they should be solid. The defense is gonna be interesting. You guys have lost some pieces.
Yeah, I'm not super thrilled with that one. I mean, we flip Zaire Franklin for Kobe Wooten, who I guess was a starter in Green Bay, but we didn't need help at defensive tackle because Buckner still plays at a high level. We did need help at linebacker. Now we lose the leading tackler in the league. We do side Arden Key, who's a solid player in Tennessee, but then we also lose Braden Smith on the offensive line, which is probably like the final piece of this deterioration of a once great offensive line that had no quarterback to protect.
Well, they probably felt, okay, let's just, let's tear it down how we can. We can get value for them, so let's do it. And then they're probably gonna dig deep in the draft for some hidden gems because I don't know. You guys don't have a first rounder this year, right?
No, it's with the Jets.
Don't worry, they're gonna screw that up. Don't worry about that. But so it's
Or wait,
probably good.
No, I'm sorry, we do. It's next year's and the year after that goes to the Jets.
Next year's draft, everyone's saying is supposed to be like one of the greatest drafts of ever. Everyone's
Yeah,
it happens. But
it happens.
it's gonna be a situation where you guys do draft well when it comes to offensive linemen and such. So you guys will probably find some diamonds in the rough and kind of just rebuild it. But yeah, you got to keep Daniel upright. If I'm him, I'm hitting the deck anytime I feel something because one more good hit and it could be a wrap. So it'll be interesting to see how this line holds up. And with Taylor running, it's going to be a little interesting to see how this works itself out.
If I'm Jones, I would have been like, well, you know what? I would have given back $15 million if it helped keep Mr. Smith in Indy.
Right, I would have been like, two for 45 maybe, and then my third year, let's soup it up because I
Yeah,
want to be able to walk.
yeah. I like to
At the
get
end of
paid,
it.
but I don't want to die.
Yeah. I'm not just trying to write it off to my kids and
Yeah.
wife or whatever, but it's interesting.
Speaking of spreading some cash around, let's go over some of the spending sprees we saw. Washington spending like the federal government that they are. Lar- Laramie Tunsil gets $60 million on an extension. They bring in three additional offensive linemen. They finally learned their lesson after Jaden Daniels gets hurt once again. And they also bring in five defensive linemen led by Odafe Owa for a fat $100 million. So Washington beefing up positions of need very much.
Washington knew they had to do something. I think last year they kind of got full of themselves and were like, "Oh, what we did the year before, oh, we can do that." It's like we'll stick with what we've got. It's that whole don't change it if it's working. Let's not change it. And then
Yeah,
Daniels gets hurt, and then your defense looks long in the tooth. Mind you, Bobby Wagner, hell of a job, but let's be real. Like that defense really had holes in it, and there was no way you guys were going to pull comebacks off over and over again. So they sat there and said, "All right, let's shore up this defense," and they did. They picked up some really nice pieces. Offensively, honestly, I think they did upgrade at running back. I think White is going to be great for them. The key is going to be Daniels. You just got to keep him healthy.
yeah, they're very much a team driven by the quarterback. No quarterback, no success.
But there you look at that division. The Eagles probably may have taken a step back or two. They, let Jalen Phillips leave and some other parts. Reed Blankenship is gone now, so there's gonna be some interesting dynamics there in Philly. The Giants did a lot. The Giants, have upgraded. Dallas did a little something actually, kind of interesting. I think they spent $1.50 or something, so they did a little something. So that NFC East is gonna be interesting. I
The
think
Cow-
it's gonna be more
the
competitive.
Cowboys spent money before St. Patrick's Day. It's a miracle.
It is, man. Like, good Lord, man. You had to beg Jerry to buy you a sandwich or something for a free agent. Good Lord. Buy a platter from the grocery store when he hosted a free agent. Jeez, he wouldn't do anything. But right now, the Eagles have to be looking over their shoulder because these teams have really started to stack up. So give Washington credit.
And we're going to go into a couple the landing spots of a couple of those Philly exits. One of which, Houston, another team that beefed up the big ugly positions with three new offensive linemen, four new defensive linemen, including Danielle Hunter, as if they needed to upgrade that at all, and as if they
Jesus.
needed to upgrade their secondary at all, which is also incredible. The aforementioned Reed Blankenship heading to the Texans.
I'm gonna tell you now. They may only score like 12 points a game, but this defense is only going to give up like 7, like at least. Um,
This is almost the inverse of Kyler Murray. It's a kind of the same argument, but a different flavor. CJ Stroud can't get it done with this Texans team. Then it might be time to rethink the CJ Stroud project.
I think there are some people who feel that way. He's really going to have a close to the freshman year he had. He's going to have to just be good. If he plays anything like he did last year, the Houston's going to say, well, it was a hell of a run. They'll eat the money because now that's the cool thing to do. Cut your quarterback, eat $99 million like it's nothing. It's cool.
Yeah.
Their defense has nothing to absolutely worry about. Adding Blankenship is ridiculous. The guy's got a ring. Guy knows what to do. It just makes this defense that much more talented. Quarterback is the only question on this team.
Yeah. and they bring in David Montgomery, as we spoke about last week. So they've improved the running game too. So improve the running game. Receivers, they just need to stay healthy. Improve the offensive line. The defense was already great. They made it better. Like you said, it's just quarterback.
And at this point, CJ needs to look at what this organization did and say, hey, I've got to bring it, because if I don't, it's a wrap. They are going to cut him. They have to. With all the talent that you have on this team, it's a waste if you continue this way. So Houston's going to be a team to watch, but it all depends on that kid.
As much as it pains me to say, they're slowly devolving into a better version of us, of the Colts.
It's okay, man. It's all right to hurt. It's okay to hurt.
It hurts. It does hurt.
It's okay. It's okay to hurt. It's all right.
Now, another team, I guess the team most geographically close to me is the Carolina Panthers. Talking about opening up the wallet, Jalen Phillips, another name you mentioned a moment ago, a fat $120 million, and Devin Lloyd, a fat $45 million to beef up the front seven between the two of them.
Hey, you don't have to see Devin Lloyd anymore. You should be very happy.
Yeah, that's true.
Carolina,
he's your problem now.
He is, but they have Bryce Young, so I kind of hope that Bryce Young reverts back a little bit. Or he just last year was an anomaly, and now he's just gonna falter back to the last couple of years where he was okay. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Carolina's legit, man. Carolina got that taste of playoff love, and they were like, "All right, let's do it." And they opened up the wallet. That defense is gonna be great. I honestly think they're the best team in the division. I'll be honest. I really do. I think they are. The only issue is Bryce Young, if he can be consistent.
Yeah.
That's where. Now, mind you, they did lose Rico Dow. They did, so the running game, I want to see what becomes of that, because if you force, Bryce to throw the ball, that could be a bit of a problem. So running back, I'm sure they're going to look deep into the draft for that, but that team is stacked. They're legit.
Yeah, Bryce's issue is consistency, because we saw, especially in the playoff game, he was able to step up to the challenge. It was just a little bit of lack of maturity and game sense as far as knowing how much time is on the clock, knowing who's on the other sideline. But the ability was there. It's just he needs to pick up where he left off.
Yeah, that's just what it is. That's what he's got to do. He's got to sit there and he's got to grow. So if that can happen, Carolina's going to be a dangerous team. They've got weapons, and that defense is solid. It's a solid defense.
Yeah, I mean, and it was already solid 2 years ago when Bryce was really bad, and they only got a little bit better last year, and now this year after the money.
Yep, you got to hope that the money does it, man. It's one thing, you spend it, and of course we sit here and we're like, the pieces are great, but how it equates on the field is another. But for right now, Carolina addressed problems or, upgraded some things, and they're going to be legit.
Speaking of addressing problems, that very much was the Rams secondary. And
so putrid.
They took a step towards that last week when they brought in Trent McDuffie. This week, they wasted no time in locking him up for the foreseeable future to a fat $124 million. And then they also bring in Jalen Watson on top of that, give him $50+ million. So almost $200 million to secure the sidelines.
F them draft picks.
F them draft picks.
That's the Rams. The Rams are just they don't need names on the back of the jerseys. Just put F them draft picks. Yeah, they basically went to Kansas City and said, okay, we're going to take you and you and you. Thank you very much. Let's go. That secondary now it's a solid secondary, nice pickups. That was the Rams' Achilles, man. That defense in the secondary was rough. They answered some questions there. They're probably going to do some more draft wise. It's basically they're looking at the Seahawks and saying, okay, we know you're going to lose some guys, so we've got to shore up our end, and it's going to be one of those things where both those teams are just going to slug it out again, for that division. But give the Rams credit; they sat there, and I thought they were going to be slick and say, you know what, let's try to go receiver, let's just stack it up. I was waiting for somebody to show up, but they were smart and went defense and brought in some quality corners.
It always shocks me how much money the Rams have to play with, considering Matthew Stafford's contract.
I'm like, what's everybody else getting paid on that team?
Yeah.
I'm like, you pay this guy this money, but yet you're shelling out for this and that guy, but they're smart. You know why? Because they got rid of Tutu Atwell. Tutu Atwell's gone.
Yeah.
They said, we're not
That
paying
was
you,
the
Tutu.
behemoth. That was the albatross.
Yep, he was the albatross. He was making like 500,000 or something, whatever.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to take a hit, I guess.
Uh, I don't know if we call this taking a hit, but the state of the Chiefs is one worth talking about as they change out the backfield. They have finally given up on Isaiah Pacheco. He heads up to the Motor City, and they bring in the Super Bowl MVP in Kenny Walker. Now, maybe Kenny Walker figures, hey, I got my Super Bowl. If I get another one, great. If I don't, okay, it is what it is. But it's a weird time in the overall era of the Chiefs to choose to go to the Chiefs.
Yeah, because maybe he felt he wasn't going to get paid enough in Seattle. I figured Seattle would have given him a nice piece because I don't know what they really offered him, but he said it wasn't even that long. He was like, all right, it was good. See y'all later. Bye.
Yeah. No tag? Okay, I'm out.
Yeah. And maybe that was it. Maybe he just wanted to feel wanted. But at the end of the day, Kansas City, the Pachenko experiment fails. He couldn't stay healthy. That was the problem. He was a great runner. He was angry. He was an angry runner, which is great, but he just couldn't stay healthy. And they definitely need a running back because you don't know.
Can't rely on Kareem Hunt anymore.
No more Kareem. Patrick comes back. He's going to be coming back off the Achilles, and I'm sure he's not going to be a bust, but you got to be able to run the ball. You got to keep Patrick upright. I think you're really going to see a change in philosophy. I'm sure he's still going to run, but I think Patrick's going to really watch what he does now. So you get yourself a Super Bowl MVP. Now you're going to have to put up the numbers.
And I don't know if it surprised you as much as it surprised me, but Travis Kelce comes back for a couple more years.
Yeah, was it like a 1-year deal?
I thought it was two. Maybe I could
Was
be
it
wrong. I
two?
thought it was
No,
two.
no, no. You might be right. All right. Well, and it was like you heard them talk. Oh, he's got enough in the tank and this and that. Well, where was it last year? Where was it last year?
Yeah.
Because there was nothing there at the end. So now you're going to tell me you're going to work in the off season and bring us back, Travis of 3 or 4 years ago. Okay, but here's the situation: is he just going to be a guy who is just going to get away with things because on name alone, or is he going to put up the numbers? What is this offense going to be? Because those are the questions. We still don't know receiver wise what's going to be because everyone's kind of talking. Well, maybe Tyreek comes back. Well, Tyreek blew everything in his knee. We don't know if he's going to be the speedster that he was. So there's a lot of questions here. What is this offense going to be? It's going to be heavy run. It's got to be at least for the beginning, and then go from there. So it'll be interesting what Travis is, but I don't think he's going to be the Travis Kelce of old.
I think the NFL begged him so they could bleed blood from the Swifty stone.
Well, okay, yeah. So here we go. There's our Super Bowl halftime show. Watch I'm telling you now. Here it
Calling it
is.
right here. Calling it right
Here it
here.
is. I'm gonna have to see Mama Kelsey. I'm gonna see 20 minutes of Mama Kelsey in the crowd or whatever, which is fine. Mama Kelsey's cool, respect. But I don't know. And right now, the Chiefs have to look at that division and say, we're not the best team in this division.
No, I mean, there you could almost make the argument they're third, and depending on how quick the Raiders' turn is, they might even be fourth before too long. And
Exactly. So is it okay? The ride is over, and now you guys are just playing for, just to be somewhat competitive. It's going to be interesting what they do in Kansas City, but I guess they felt Travis had enough in the tank for another run.
Kenny Walker's like a member of the cast of Ballers. They all won a Super Bowl, and then they went to terrible teams just to live out a glamorous life because they got their ring.
Yeah, they were like, I don't care, just give me the money. I'm good with it. I'm good with it. I'll do my thing. Hey, and it's almost like, okay, did you just bring him back because you wanted the feel good story? Like, was it really worth it? And it kind of mirrors Tampa in a way where, like, you know, Tampa could have offered more money than what San Fran did, but Mike says, yeah, I want another challenge, but Tampa wasn't going to overpay for it either. There's a point where
Yeah.
you've got to say, I can't mortgage the future. We're going to do what we have to do. So Kansas City, I guess you give them benefit of a doubt, but Travis needs to be close to 1,000 yards to make this worth it.
Oh, easily. We're gonna come back around to cap off a couple topics you touched on before, and that is the Pittsburgh Steelers. They signed Rico Dowdle, he's a very solid player last year, patching up a running game that was a little questionable with Jalen Warren and the ghost of Najee Harris from a couple of years ago.
Najee, man, we're there for you, Najee.
He
Good
was
times.
indeed a ghost with the Chargers, that's for sure. Uh,
Yeah.
They immediately gave an extension to one Michael Pittman as soon as my Colts dumped him. And I was like, have at it. He's your headache now. Michael Pittman, I swear, is the most overrated possession receiver ever. The guy is like 6'4". He should be an elite red zone target. He can run with anyone, but he was barely averaging 10 yards a catch. So Pittsburgh, you could have him. Good luck with that.
When
And
Mike when Michael Pittman goes over for like 1,400 yards, 12 touchdowns, and you're cussing his name,
well, it'll just be another Rock Gibson at that point, I suppose. Um,
Rock Ya-Sin!
And they bring, and not only do they have a former Colt on the roster now, they also have a former Buck as they bring in Jamel Dean.
I'm gonna miss Jamel. Jamel's a cool guy. I've met Jamel a couple of times. He's a cool cat, but here's the problem with Jamel. Jamel will make a great play, and then he gets hurt, and he's out for like 3/4 of the game, and then he comes back in. But if you look at his numbers, he's a legit. He really is a top end kind of corner. So I think it's gonna help him because he's not honestly, he's not going to be the number one. Joey Porter Jr., I think, is the number one corner on that team. They've got guys. So Jamel can just seamlessly go in there and just play, and he doesn't have to be the guy. So I think it was a good pickup.
So, despite the fact that they probably still haven't figured out their quarterback situation, overall A plus for the Steelers.
I give you a B plus, B
A
plus,
plus.
B plus, because you don't know who the quarterback is. Like, all right, like, are we going to do this dance again with Aaron Rodgers? Like, what's the deal? Like they should have rolled up once the tampering stuff began. Hey, man, do you want to play? Yes or no? If you don't want to play, then that's cool. Move on with your life. We need to know because right now, who's the quarterback for the Steelers?
Mm-hmm.
Because Kyler would have been good there. I think Kyler would
Kyler would have
have been
fit.
nice.
Kyler would have fit there,
You
especially if
know,
they could figure out how to bring DK back. I don't know if his contract was up or he's still under. I think he probably still was under contract. But DK
yeah,
on one side, now Pittman on the other. Those are two big body receivers going down the sideline. That would be a great spot for Kyler.
yeah. Minnesota was smart to not let him leave the building, but it's a situation of okay. So if it's not Aaron, who is it? Is it Mason Rudolph? Who's the guy? Or are you going to go with Will Howard? Is Will Howard your guy?
Yeah, just hand over the reins right away. Mind you, neither one of those guys have anything to do with Mike McCarthy. He could just be like, just get me someone for a year placeholder. Let's figure it out after that."
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, it's Mike McCarthy, so they'll win 12 games and get bounced out of the playoffs on the first. Still Steeler football, bounced in the first round, but he'll make it look better. He'll get you 3 more wins.
Right, exactly. I was gonna say it's the same 9-8. It just looks a little better.
Exactly, a little shinier, a little shiny. They went to Mako, got a better paint job. They're good.
Mako. All right, Bucks McGee. I saved this for last because it ties in two very, very popular topics of ours. First of all, I was not expecting the fire sale in Miami to occur like it did. Just willing to eat a plump $99 million of Tua Tagovailoa's contract. They ship off Micah Fitzpatrick to the Jets for a 7th rounder. Talk about giving him away. They bring in Malik Willis to compete with Quinn Ewers, gave him nearly $70 million. What are the Dolphins doing? And of course, if you want to tie this into what are the Falcons doing as well, because now Tua lands in Atlanta to compete with Michael Penix, they better have the most top tier medical staff imaginable in Atlanta.
Okay, so let's start with Miami first. So yeah, it must be nice to be able just to take $99 million and set it on fire in a trash can and just walk away. Because that's what you did. You were like, all right, that's cool. Whatever. Let's make some hot dogs and let's get some s'mores going because you blew it. All right, I guess. I guess Malik is going to be the guy because you don't pay some guy that kind of money to sit the bench. I guess it's Quinn Ewers is going to have to work his tail off to try to unseat Malik, but I think Malik's going to be the guy. Now Malik had a decent run in Green Bay, but let's be honest, when he was the top pick, he was horrible. He was tough. It wasn't good. So I guess maybe they figured it out, and he's going to be the guy in Miami. So that'll be interesting to see. To Atlanta. Yeah. Atlanta just can't get it right, can they? They just can't figure it out. You've got now, mind you, they did lose some pieces on the defensive end, but they still have the offensive weapons and such, so they're going to be competitive. But you're telling me Michael Penix, at this point is just fragile as can be. Just another this injury was just another in his long history. And then you bring Tua over, where God forbid if he gets hit in the head with a paper airplane, it's over. And I feel bad because I'd like to see Tua succeed, but let's be real. You're playing with fire. You think you would bring somebody in who's going to challenge Michael Penix, and it's someone who can actually stay on the field.
Yeah. Not someone who barely could do either.
He's going to be wearing the Romeo Dobbs headgear, which I'm tired of people picking on that because you know what? Those guys are playing smart. They're saving their heads. Who cares if it's a little bigger or whatever? You know what? Hey, if you were making that money, you'd all be wearing that headgear too. I don't want to hear nothing.
Yeah.
Don't be prideful. I'd be out there twice as big. I don't care. You know what? And then you could put advertisements in the back.
Yeah.
Buffalo Wild Wings. I don't care. Whatever. I'm making money. I don't care. Laugh at me all you want. I'll take my $80 million and sit here and laugh at me. But Atlanta's got issues. I guess Matt Ryan, maybe he really hates the team, and he's just trying to implode it from the inside. I don't get it because I don't know why the heck you would want to bring Tua in. Kyler Murray probably would have been good there. I would have been like, hey, Kyler, I know you're probably going to Minnesota, but at least come and hear our pitch. Figure it out. Even Malik, something, but nope, you bring in Tua, so we're gonna see. Maybe in about 4 months we'll be biting our tongues, going, "Wow, we were suckers." Yeah,
Tua had something left.
But Tua's healthy. Tua's solid. Tua, accurate, could throw the ball, but the problem is he going to be solid? Is he going to be healthy? And if Michael Penix comes back and he's legit, then you got Tua just sitting there, which is fine. I guess that's what you're hoping for. But if both those guys go out, what are you going to do?
Well, yeah, because Atlanta doesn't have to pay to anything because all his money is still coming from the Dolphins.
Yeah, it's burning in that trash can over there. I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out for Atlanta if Penix can survive and if Tua can stay healthy. As for Miami, it's got to be just a straight up rebuild. They've got to just sit there and say, okay, let's. We're not trying to win the division. We're just trying to figure out if we can field a competitive team.
Yeah.
We
Tank
gotta
City, one.
all we got to do is be better than the Jets, unless they want to tank.
Yeah, that's right. The tanking of the AFC East is up on us.
It's so sad, so sad. Those teams for a moment had greatness. New England was down for a couple of years. Then New England said, "Yeah, all right, you all had your chance. Here we are."
Yeah. Well, Bucks McGee, as the off season rolls on, the wallets were open, and there's a lot of new faces and new places. Sir, take us off with your final thoughts on this first week of NFL free agency.
Well, guys, I know some of you are hurting like I am. Some of you are angry, but that's okay. This pain shall pass because it could be worse. We could be the Jets and bring in back Geno Smith.